Welcome to Verbal Pick Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life, and we are everyday people. I'd like to welcome you all to the show, minding you to tune in on our YouTube channel, Verbal Pick Radio, for the upcoming interview I did with Sabrina the model. You can check out the interview I did with 713 Studios with DJ Luscious Ice, and so many other videos we've done. I want you all to go check it out and like and subscribe, right? But today I want to discuss the series titled Them, T-H-E-M. It's a series about a black family who moved into a all-white neighborhood called Compton, when Compton was white before it was black. And like many areas in your community, like in Houston, South Park was white before it was black, and other areas was white before it was black, right? And then blacks moved in, whites moved out. We know that whole story, but we talking about something totally different. Now, when Willie Lynch gave his speech in Virginia on how to divide and conquer the slaves in order to create a slave mentality, right? Because the white slave master or the colonizer created the nigger, right, for his benefit and his purpose, right? He made, see those rules, especially if you read the Willie Lynch letters, those laws, whether it be Jim Crow or the black codes or whatnot, those laws were in place to create and sustain a nigger mentality, and the nigger characteristics was created all out of the white man's mind, or the colonizer's mind, or the slave master's mind, right? Because he had to create a situation to where white supremacy could thrive, because two things can't occupy the same space at the same time. He felt like the white people had to be superior and the black people would be their subjects. That's why Mr. Farrakhan, back when he was doing calypso singing, he had a song titled "The White Man's Heaven is the Black Man's Hell," right? Because the white man, he had to feel, he had to use tricks and lies to make it appear that he is superior, and also he created his heaven here on earth at the expense of black labor and black sweat equity, right? And so you have today a system that has run amok, right? It went so far to now you having mass shootings almost every day, right? Because white privilege was the only order of the day, and since white people are feeling like they're becoming the minority, they're panicking and don't know what to do, and they're committing mass murders, right? Because they feel as though white privilege is slipping away, and the only reason for living really is to enjoy white privilege. Now, I know you all heard on a previous show where I did the FedEx shooting, white privilege and black privilege, where there need to be black privilege, and how the people that were interviewed were saying, you know, one lady was saying, man, I speed all the time. I don't get a ticket. When the police walk up, see I'm white, they tell me, thank you and have a nice day, and let me off. No ticket. One white guy was talking about how he was real bad at a job that he had in metalworkings, and the supervisors called, and he thought he was getting fired, and they promoted him, and he couldn't believe it. But then he realized, oh, that's white privilege, because they don't have to think about it because it's granted to them, right? That's white privilege. So in a series called Them, there was this inner self figment of the father's imagination of someone in blackface, Shuck and Jive Coon, right? Directing him on how to act and behave, right? But that black-faced Shuck and Jive Coon was really the white man's narrative on how black people should act and react. Give you an example of the nigga that was created by the colonizer, the white man, right? Here's an example. You in a club. You walking down the street. You at some type of business establishment, right? You going inside or you're already inside and someone's getting ready to leave and y'all bump into each other and he steps on your shoe. New Air Jordans, right? The created nigga mentality by the white man would say, hey, you gonna let him step on your new shoes and you not kill him? What kind of nigga is you that I created, right? And once that triggers something in your mindset, in your brain, you turn around, hey man, watch where you going. You just stepped on my motherfucking shoes. He turn around, damn dude, my bad, but you ain't gotta be out like that. Hell, they just shoes. What, bam, pull out a gun, shoot him, bam. Something that simple, right? Because he makes you feel like you satisfying or you doing or you the hero by doing the colonizer's bidding. Right? Because that's what he wants you to do. Right? So he can come and lock you up and say, yeah, man, nobody better not mess with you. I feel you. You know what I mean? Stepped on your shoes. Hey, man, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, but yet still got to lock you up for life. You've been played. Right? He uses that nigga mentality as a tool to wipe us all out. Right? And then he reinforces the stereotype through media, through the news, through advertisement, through the way certain things are set up in place within the community. That's why you got more churches and liquor stores, because in that dynamic, right, some two spirits fighting each other, right? You got the spirits in the alcohol bottle, and then you got the teachings of white Jesus coming out the church, right? Meet up on the street, they fighting each other. A constant war. Right? That war, and when they go to war, that war is so brutal that it tears up everything in sight. Right? It's like being in Afghanistan. It's like being in those third world countries where they have a war going on and the heavy shelling and artillery. When you come back and look at the devastation and destruction that was caused, you're like, wow, how can anybody live like that? You know, because once two bulls lock horns, they destroying everything in sight. So same as with the community. Two different ideologies lock horns, and over time, it's going to destroy everything in its path. And that's what we see. So towards the end of the movie, he shoots the figmentation that's played out in his mind. He shoots that the black-faced coon, Zip Coon, whichever coon you want to call him, shoots him in the head, kills him, right? And then he takes out his handkerchief and he wipes his face, and it's a white man underneath the black face. Al Jolson, i.e. back in the day, how they would do whiteface and portray black people. And that was symbolic to show you that it's a white man who took the time to put all that makeup on to try to portray and disguise himself as a black man so he can get close enough to the black man and give him all kind of damaging thoughts and ideas in his head to carry out against himself and his own people, right? So then we'll say, well, you have to know yourself. You have to have knowledge of self. But what does that do to know yourself and have knowledge of self? Then you can check yourself and say, wait a minute, I'm acting other than myself. Well, what is yourself? Yourself is a righteous person, upright morals, standings, right? Privilege, wealth, economics, cleanliness, healthy living. That's who you are. So if you acting anything other than that, then you program. Now, where do you go to get deprogrammed? Okay, that's what you want to know. How do I get the white man out of my system, right? Okay, well, the Quran, right, was prescribed for you, right, due to the harsh conditions that black people have been through in America. Read the Quran to move our fear, right? Then the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, will help rid you of that white mentality and set you back into your own skin and your own self. And then now, once you do that, then you become a builder. If you don't take those steps, you might have the title of builder, but you ain't building nothing, right? You can't build nothing out of the nigger mentality that the colonizer created and forced you to carry out and act on its behalf. Example, okay, I got an example. Let's say back in the black codes, back in Jim Crow days, right? There were certain laws on the books, right, that was only for black people, that discriminated against black people, right? But really what it was doing was, purpose was to tear down your self-esteem, treat you like an animal so you don't recognize who you are, to keep you in a constant battle with these frivolous laws that they created, right? That's your struggle. We don't want you focusing on your true persons because you might figure it out. So we got to keep bombarding you with these fraudulent laws to tear away at your person, right? I mean, it was a very clever scheme. But as what Bob Marley said was, what did Bob Marley say? You turned our love into hate. You turned love into hate. And in order to turn love into hate, I mean, you really got to break a person down to their last degree of sensibility, right? To where they lost all senses. And the colonizer was so hell-bent on destruction and greed and totally disregarded the human rights of a people. So they just kept on pushing, kept on shooting black folks down in the streets, trying to change now voter laws, and just kept on, didn't know when to stop, to where you turned the love that some had for you turned it into hate. So now people saying, you know what, we'll rather have justice than injustice, right? We'll rather be 100% completely free than have your friendship. We rather have love for ourselves and create something for ourselves than continue pouring our thought and energy into you to hold you up. Because we had enough, and enough is enough. So now politicians and pastors and preachers are getting challenged because the terminology and the words that they use now, people are figuring it out that actually really you talking, but you're not saying nothing. You're not really talking towards, let's find some action to deal with these things that plague us. Basically what you're saying is learn how to deal with it and smile. Learn how to turn the other cheek and smile. And the people saying, nah, that's not going to work today, Red. That's played out. We've been doing that for 400 years, and that hasn't got us what we want. Right? So the preacher turn around and say, well, what do you want? We want to be, matter of fact, we don't want to be. We don't want nothing from them, because what we want, they can't give it to us. We got to give it to ourselves, and that comes from the Creator God himself. We are upright, righteous, outstanding human beings, and we're going to treat each other and ourselves that way. And anybody who treats us other than that, they got hell to deal with. They got a problem on their hands. We're not waiting for somebody to sit and give us justice. We're going to take justice because we are just people. We're not looking for approval. We're not going to somebody saying, hey, can y'all please stop treating us right, treating us wrong, and taking our tax dollars and then killing our children and doing anything you want to do to us on your good nature, on your word, on your being. Can you please stop treating us in this manner? Nah, that's weak. We saying, hey, we love ourselves and we not taking no bullshit. Either you're going to treat me as a creation of the Creator, or we got a problem. And it's as simple as that. Dante Wright, Eric Gardner, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Sandra Bland, Tamir Rice, so many, bro. Philando Castile, so many, right? And you saw what went on with the military officer of the Army who was pepper sprayed by them saying that his license tags, when he had the tags in its rear view window, clearly seen, and got pepper sprayed. But what that was about was, I don't recognize you, I don't see you, and if I want to do this to you to relieve some stress, then this is what I'll do, because I'm the law and I don't like you, and I don't even care if you serve in this country. Now, the military brass should be down their throat. They should have had a formation right in front of the police station and saying, you do not treat one of our officers in this manner. It made it plain. And let them know we will come down on you. That's how it should have been handled. Whoever his battalion captain, you need to step up and make an example out of that sheriff and that police department, right? For someone who's ready to be deployed, God knows, wherever on the planet, and defend American values, and then to drive his vehicle on an American street and get treated that way, and the military don't get involved, I'd be damned. So it's elementary, and when I say elementary, I'm saying on a elementary school level, meaning your mind hasn't matured to an adult level when all you see is race, right? That means you stuck and you can't grow. You stagnant. And so you're going to have to either come out of that stagnation and grow, or you will nullify your reason for being. You can't justify your existence with a elementary grade level mindset as a country, right? It's impossible, right? America, you got to grow up. Even the leaders got to grow up. The politicians got to grow up. You can't sit there and make excuses for these mass killers just because they white. And white privilege, black people, let me tell you how you can learn from white privilege, right? Give yourself black privilege, right? And how do you do that? Eradicate all of the colonizers, white supremacists, ideologies that they forced upon us as a people. Don't carry it out. Throw it away. Drop all of it. Give them back their names, right? And then create it yourself. Don't take it because the slave master said, I'm naming you because you my property, and you keep carrying. Now throw that shit out the window. Give him back his white Jesus. Start learning the Coptic Christianity or the Gnostic, but you give him back that Constantine Christianity. Let him have it, and then you redirect the teachings that you all come together in the group and say, we're going to start teaching this way, not the way that our great-great-great-grandparents taught us to teach, because they was only taught that out of fear, because they was either you teach this to your people, or we going to beat you or possibly kill you. So that was done under stress. Right. So no, throw that away. Throw everything away that he told you was good for you, beneficial for you, and you must do this. Give it all back and say, something don't sound right. I'm not doing it. You see what I'm saying? Give it back to him. Right. Free yourself. Free your mind. The rest of fire. Follow. Verbal Pick Radio. We're out.